That's right. You're listening to and watching the Arsenal Review USA podcast. It's the podcast for the American Gooner in association with Arsenal America. You can find out more about us at arsenalreviewusa.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all kinds of places that you only check when you're bored at work. So right now, you're checking us out on Google Hangouts or YouTube Live, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I guess it'd be YouTube.
Yeah, it's not Google Hangouts anymore.
They're not hanging out with us. They're watching a live stream on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
That's way too informal for the very, very formal thing that we're doing right now. That's talking about the Arsenal wins, 2 Arsenal wins over West Brom and Doncaster. So that's a pretty big deal for Arsenal, especially this season. I wasn't so. We were talking, obviously, behind the stage, behind the scenes here before this whole thing started, about how convinced both of us were. Myself and Kyle over here with the ransom video backdrop, as always.
Yes.
About how convinced we were and about how convinced you should be about Arsenal's latest wins. And I'm not that convinced, first of all, by the Doncaster win. I thought it was a little, well, for all the pressure that Arsenal had, I know Doncaster was very, very, very bunkered in. But for all the pressure they had, Arsenal, you would have expected them and would have really, really assumed they'd get. They should have got way more than what they got out of that game. Luckily, they got a win, but in the end, it wasn't too convincing. I think how the biggest victory for Arsenal and Arsene Wenger, especially over these last 2 games, is the fact that we don't have to start Mesut Ozil and we could still win. I mean, that's a huge feather in his cap, is it not?
Yeah, no, it's. I don't want to say that's a good thing, but it's nice to know that we have some options and have some offensive. I don't want to say firepower, but we do create chances. We do get into the box. We can counterattack without Mesut Ozil on the pitch. And I guess to the point of the Doncaster result not being all that convincing, it certainly wasn't. But one thing I will say is that to Doncaster, and I'll go back to the FC Cologne event. That night was like their World Cup final. A lot of fans were saying is like the reasons why they were acting like crazy people is because playing away in Europe at Arsenal was like one of the biggest events in the club's history in the last 20 years or something like that. Right. And you would have to think in Doncaster's case, a similar probably feel to them, their players, their fans playing away at a big club like Arsenal in any cup for that matter, whether it be whatever the rotating sponsorship cup is or FA Cup or whatever competition it is. That's a huge game for them. And so I don't think it was as much as Arsenal playing down to their level, even though it appeared to be that way. It would, but Doncaster 2 leagues below Arsenal now in League One. So it's not like they're a League Two or conference side or something random like that. A little bit of quality in the side, enough to give Arsenal a little bit of a problem, and a big game for those sorts of players. You look at them. It's escaping my mind now. The team that they went away, it was the conference team with the goalie ate the pie last year. In the FA Cup.
Everyone knows who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of with it being live, I can't think of the name of the team, and I'm not going to look it up. But that was it. Arsenal ended up dominating that game, I guess, in a way, but only ended up winning, 2-0? Or was it ended up being like I can't remember quite what the scoreline was either, but some players that had been ridden off by bigger clubs and just hadn't gotten the sort of looks that other players do performed really well in that game because they were playing up to the occasion. So I think that's probably all you really need to say about the Doncaster result. I don't think it's some issue, big issue with the Arsenal side, because we came back and played a decent mid-table Premier League side, and certainly could have given up some goals and had some heroics from our defense, but nonetheless got the 2-0 victory, kept a clean sheet, and move, I think, out of the bottom half of the league. So, all things considered, 2 wins and 2.
Well, yeah, back to the Doncaster game. I think that's, to your point, I think that's all that is significant about those results is that you get the result and you get out of there without humiliating yourself somehow. So while the performance is something that doesn't really instill a lot of confidence, it's something also at the same time where you mission accomplished. You just have to get through it. I mean, enough about Doncaster and everybody being plucky. I mean, as far as Arsenal were concerned, Big night for Theo Walcott. That's his first goal since I don't know when. It's his first goal for a long, long time. Since his new hairdo, definitely. The slick back, greasy. Yeah, not a good hairdo. But yeah, good goal for him. Good performance also from Alexis, who again played against West Brom, which was, I think that was the much more incident-filled game. The Doncaster game was all about pressure against Doncaster. How long could they hold out? This is ridiculous that Arsenal's not scoring that many goals. But we've seen all that stuff before, especially with all the Arsenal pressure camped down in the other team's half. So the West Brom game was definitely the more notable one, especially for some unprecedentedly charitable refereeing from the ref that I can never remember who his name is. I just know he looks like a mole. Like he just is. He has no shoulders. They just like taper. His torso tapers perfectly into his head. What's that guy's name? Is it Madley? Bobby Madley. Is that who it is? I'm pretty sure it's Bobby Madley.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone out there knows is Googling it. They're actually watching this.
What cartoon growing up had the like evil mole? Isn't there like an evil mole in a cartoon somewhere?
No, there's a mole. I don't know.
Yeah, he wears like those like bifocals. Yeah, like the guy.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. If you're watching right now, or
we're really sorry. We can't think of anything.
Give us
anything.
No
specificity whatsoever on this live show. Yeah, no, it's you know who we're talking about. But anyway, a lot of charitable refereeing for Arsenal, especially with that Jay Rodriguez slip. And then, well, he got up. That's the problem. He actually got up after he got taken down. He definitely got taken down by Mustafi. You never do that. You never do that. I know we bemoan so many times that players really elaborate and play act a lot. But yeah, you got to stay down in that situation. He gets a shot off and it goes off the post. I think if he would have absolutely flubbed his shot, then maybe he would have gotten a penalty, like a late or something. But no, he creamed it off. Czech saved it well, and then he creamed it off the post, and then they had another chance. So
yeah, I think it was Livermore who missed an open net, basically.
Yeah.
So they certainly had their chance there. But I will agree with you. I mean, I think it seems like this season, is that our first penalty in the league?
Oh yeah.
It's got to be. I can't think of another. I don't think Ozil or anyone has missed yet. So it's probably the first one. But yeah, in terms of maybe this last little bit of last year and so far this year, the referees certainly have been giving us a little bit more of the calls than we've seen in the past. But, I'm not complaining. I think Arsenal fans have suffered enough in that department, certainly from a handful of refs that we've seen over the years. Yeah. I think Michael Oliver, who
whoever suffers at the hands of
whoever did the Chelsea game, was that Oliver?
I think it was.
Well, whatever ref did the Chelsea game, Arsenal's record with that particular referee in the last like 10 or 12 games or something, I don't think they had a single win. Right. So yeah, there are plenty of referees where Arsenal's track record with them is not a good one. But so anytime you can get this sort of performance or this sort of assistance from a referee is a good thing. But let's talk for a minute about Mustafi for one. A lot of people saying,
is he the new Koscielny when it comes to slide tackles in the penalty box?
Well, it doesn't seem to be.
No, I'm saying like Koscielny,
like in a bad way.
Yeah, in a bad way. That he for a long time and possibly still is infamous for playing a great game and then just creaming somebody with an ill-advised slide tackle.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Tim Bostel has written about this, like the statistics of Koscielny's slide tackling. So yes, he would be the new Koscielny if I think you're going where I think you're going.
Oh, well, I was going to suggest is did we miss out on selling him to Inter?
I think
it's one game. He's to be
a couple
very,
of those,
very slidey in
very winning 11.
Yes, that's a technical term, very slidey.
Yeah.
But anytime, as we've talked about before and other shows have talked about, anytime you move to a formation like we have, and we're going to be sticking with this particular formation, what we've seen would lead us to believe that he is by himself back there. And so to him, I'm sure a last ditch slide not only comes into his mental approach to the game probably more often than it maybe did before when he had a partner back there. But also, there's probably an element of maybe if I can get there, it'll look good too. I don't know. He's probably not necessarily looking for style points in any way, shape, or form, because he's certainly not getting them
he
either.
Just likes to slide.
It's
fair to say.
But I guess, would you be of the opinion, Joel, or others? Feel free to chime in. Anyone listening, give us a tweet. Would you be of the opinion to move Koscielny back into the middle and Mustafi on the right, or have we tried that before and it didn't work out? I feel like maybe we have seen Mustafi on the right and it wasn't what we thought it could be.
Briefly, I think maybe, unfortunately, it was that one. Was it the League Cup or the FA? It was again, can't remember anything. It was that cup game where Arsenal playing inferior opposition, I think away, and he started on the right, and it was just a nightmare for him and really everybody else at the back, but especially him. Mustafi. So so Mustafi, he's always going to be kind of that loose cannon when it comes to, well, he plays very aggressive. He plays assertively. So I think he always has in the back of his mind that he can make it up by hurrying back because of his pace and making up for a mistake or covering somebody else. And usually the method of doing that is hurrying back and creaming somebody on the slide tackle. So that's what happened for the first major incident of the game. And then Alexis, very on point with his free kicks all night. It's another great example of why, even if you don't like the guy and even if he's going to leave, it's so one way or another, he's going to help you stretch even if he doesn't score, he's going to help you stretch the other team to the extent that they invariably give up an error or they don't cover somebody else because they're worrying about Alexis. In this case, he had a great free kick. Everyone was watching the great free kick, forgot about Lacazette coming in, who had probably his two easiest goals for Arsenal so far, but definitely well-deserved goals. And he's the only player, since it was a long time ago. Maybe
over 20
80s?
years. Yeah, late 80s. Yeah.
To have scored his first 3 home games in his first 3 home games. So well done to him. And then from there on out, there was some more activity from West Brom later on. But from there on out, after the amazing, I'm getting out of order here. There was the first Lacazette's goal off the free kick rebound. And then there was the amazing, as good as a goal clearance from Monreal, which he almost shanked into the roof of his own net, which I mean, you see that in real time. You're like, that is amazing. What an acrobatic feat. And then you watch it in slow mo, like, wow, that's how I would have cleared it. Like, except maybe I would have, my trajectory would have been a little more that way. Yeah, no, it was close, but it was a great, clearance from him. And he's just that keeps on giving.
Right. Yeah. One thing I've really noticed about the last couple matches that Monreal has been able to play in that center back with Kolasinac right in front of him. Those two are really perfect together because they complement each other so well. You have Kolasinac is defensive minded for sure, and he can play that left back if you need him to, but he's more of an offensive force, more offensive minded, getting forward, but has the ability to defend and does well coming back to defend. Whereas Monreal is a defender by trade. Defender first, really, does well there, but can also get forward and support. We've seen him score some goals over the years. We've seen him, put in some great crosses and just really be productive going forward. But now you have both of those guys being able to play their preferred position on the same side of the pitch. So I really like what I'm seeing from the left-hand side in particular. Not that the right-hand side is any
stupid right-hand side.
But, Koscielny and Bellerin not necessarily playing in positions that fit their game, maybe as closely as Kolasinac and Monreal right now. But that was really good to see in terms of, Monreal being able to kind of do what he does defensively, and Kolasinac be kind of that bull running forward as well. We did get one question in terms of a lineup, Joel, that I put out to people for this particular show in terms of a lineup, because a lot of people kind of mentioning that Ramsey did okay in that forward 3, but probably would look better or be better in the middle of the pitch. Although I did like what I saw from El Neni, not necessarily a choice.
No, he had a good game. He had a good game. An unseasonably good game. Usually, Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
he's an awkward runner, so it's very easy to pick him out. He's got the bouncy, he's got the big hair, and so it's easy to pick him out. But
Yeah.
either way, I thought he made really good decisions and was strong on the ball. But Michael tweeted us and said, well, his first question was, who would win a game between you and I in FIFA? And it would probably be you, because
You as in not he, Michael, but you and me. Yeah, no, I would definitely win. Sorry.
Yeah, probably. I would just mash buttons at this point. The second question,
although the new FIFA, sorry, but the new FIFA is favorable to button mashing. So and it evens it up. Like the last 5 years worth of more than that have evened it up. If you're ahead by 1, you can't get ahead by 2. It's that kind of crap. So I'd win in like a 3-2 or a 2-1 type scenario.
Give me a full day of playing a few matches. I think I could.
Okay.
We'd probably split out of 10 games. Sure. Also, the question after that was, if all are healthy, would we like to see Ramsey, Lacazette, and Alexis, or Ozil, Lacazette, and Alexis? So really, I guess just the swap of Ozil and Ramsey. And for me, that's kind of a tough call based on the opponent. Because it's not that it's nice that like we said at the beginning of the show, it's nice that we can win without Mesut Ozil in the lineup, but he does make us better. I will say that, at least offensively. And Ramsey, if we can get him into a position where we feel a little bit more comfortable in the middle of the pitch, especially with the back three getting stronger. I won't say every game, but at least getting more used to each other. I think Ramsey makes more sense in the middle of the pitch in order to get Ozil as part of that front three. But I don't know if you have any other thoughts.
No. I mean, I agree. I think that, generally Ozil makes us better. Recently, no. And by recently, I mean like since the beginning of the season, no. So I'm in favor. I'm not a huge Ramsey fan, but I'm in favor of the approach we're taking now, which is kind of like a different horses for different courses type thing. We've got a couple of opponents. Well, maybe it's just by default putting Aaron Ramsey in. Maybe that's the scenario. But it looks like, with the Chelsea game anyway, going back that far, it looked like it was a special situation where Ramsey had played well against Chelsea in the past and kept them really on their back heels. So, why not? Why don't we play him again? And now we played him a handful of games in a row, and he's still playing well. I mean, he's some have been saying he's been playing more responsibly in his midfield positioning. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Maybe it's just like the outcomes have been good, and then we backwards kind of kind of work backwards to confirm the statement that he's being more honest in midfield. I don't think he necessarily has. I don't know if you've seen something different, but
I think more responsibly is relative probably to where he's at on the pitch. So he's a guy that I think we actually mentioned this maybe a year or two ago when he led the league or was pretty close up there leading the league in giveaways. Yeah. And he might still be doing that at a pretty high rate, but we don't notice it as much if he does it further up the pitch in the offensive half of the field, as opposed to in our defensive third or in the middle of the pitch and we get counterattacked because of it. So that I think is probably a big reason why people are saying he's taking care of the ball or, he's being more responsible. I don't know that that's necessarily true. I'd have to look at the stats to confirm that. I mean, but I think the caveat there is that I'm fine with him. If he's playing in that front three, I'm fine with the way he is playing that position, taking guys on and trying to attack on the dribble and just trying to be a little bit more creative and force the ball here and there just to see what happens with it, as opposed to doing that exact same thing as he's standing in the middle of the pitch, as the last man back from a midfield perspective. So, I would say that I think the front three suits him better in terms of his game and wanting to go forward and being productive on the ball and kind of being that midfield playmaker, or, maybe a poor man's Ozil, if you will, in that front three, especially if we can get an El Neni and another good option to fill in the gaps, like you said, in terms of different matches and based on skill set and need, and giving guys some rest, because I don't think it's going to be a good thing to play Xhaka every game in the middle of the park, throughout this long season, because we are still in Europe, we are still in the FA Cup, we're still in 4 competitions, and so Ramsey is going to have to play there and take a few nights off here and there as well. And so I think there's going to be plenty of opportunity. We do have more attacking options in that front three to pick from than we would in the midfield. So it will be interesting, one, to see how long Danny Welbeck is out for coming up here. I haven't seen update on him. And then, of course, if Giroud will ever start a game again in his Arsenal career, because I think as long as Lacazette is healthy, especially in the league, he'll be starting up top.
Well, that's the funny thing about Giroud. And I was just listening to, I forgot what the podcast or the broadcast was, but the kind of the inverse relationship between Giroud and Lacazette is that Giroud, he's been derided, forever, especially at Arsenal, for taking too many chances to score. So, for every one goal he scores, he misses 3 or 4 sitters type thing. And actually that's the same gripe against Lacazette for the French national team, is that he does the same thing. He's profligate when it comes to scoring or taking chances for them. He'll score 1 and then miss 5. For Arsenal, he's a lot more, his rate, that ratio is a lot more even. Whereas Giroud for France is actually way, 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 way more clinical, which is crazy. So they have these alter egos representing themselves when they play for club and country. And it's funny, they just happen now to play for both the same club and the same country. So, it's interesting what happened to Giroud. A lot of, not to go back over every lineup issue there you mentioned, but they'll definitely be ironed out here because we've got 3 games. We got Bate. We discussed this pronunciation of Bate. I don't think it's actually Bate, but that's what everyone calls it. Borisov. I think it is Bate. Yeah. Thursday. And then we've got, we do have Brighton on Sunday. And then we've got someone right after that. And it's slipping my mind who that is.
Well, no, it's after that. It's the international break. Following Brighton at home, and then Watford away on Saturday, the 14th of October. And I just mentioned Danny Welbeck there. I wasn't sure when he was coming back. His target, according to Arsenal.com and Arsene Wenger, is the Watford match. So he will not be ready to go until after the international break, which is good news. We should be able to take care of business without him in the lineup. But a busy next month and a half once we return. So so you'll be seeing everybody for Arsenal in the next couple of months here, because this is where things start to really pile up. Yeah, Bate coming up here on Thursday, and then Brighton on Sunday. Do you want to just do predictions for that while we're talking about? Sure, I will. Let me give a quick update for our patrons and for you and I. We both had 2-1 for the West Brom game. Is that correct, or
you had a 3-1? You had a 3-1. And Martin had a 2-1. I had a 2-1.
Okay. Well, Patron Laird had 2-0. So he is running away with things right now with 15 points on the season. Because he also got Doncaster correct with the win department. So he picks up 5 points on the week. He's got 15 points. I'm in second with 8 points. Joel, you're in third with 6 points. And then the guests jump ahead with 2 correct predictions. 2 points, and then Edgar sits in last place. But Laird really stealing the show right now. I will go first for Bate. That is away from home. No idea what the lineup will look like, but I will say Arsenal.
Just amend that slightly. Bate is in Borisov.
I said away. Did I not?
I think you said at home. You know what?
I think I said away from home. It doesn't matter. It is away from home.
It is.
Arsenal are going to win 3-1.
Ooh, that's brave. I'm going to say 2-0. I'm going to say even in uncomfortable territory there, I think they're going to squeeze out 2-0. So for Brighton, that is at home. I'm going to say that. Brighton's been pretty plucky lately, so I'm going to say it's going to be 3-1, but Brighton will score. So 3-1 win.
I will say are we going to score 3 goals is the question.
At home?
Yeah. I'll go 3-1 as well.
Okay, 3-1 win. So we got 3-1 win, 3-1 for Brighton. Okay. Yeah. Brighton's been flying, I won't say flying high, but they've been punching above their weight for sure. So, interesting run of fixtures here for Arsenal. Not as tough as it was in previous weeks, especially with Chelsea and the like. But, it remains to be seen how well Arsenal's depth is going to hold out here in what is becoming like a more steady flow of fixtures coming up in the next couple of weeks, along with another another international break. So yeah, that's we've been very efficient on this podcast. Is there any topic you still want to discuss? Yeah.
Well, we do have a contest to award, or
That's a topic you want to discuss.
Well, I don't know that we need to discuss the topic, but I do need to cover the result of that.
No discussion. No discussion. You just gotta lay it out.
Well, I mean, we could briefly discuss the answer and how crazy it really is.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
You know, it's the question for last week's contest, or I guess this podcast contest was, when was the last time we beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge and also kept a clean sheet? So, you know, we discussed at length that it had been 12 years since Arsenal had kept a clean sheet at Stamford Bridge in the league. Right. Now, in this case, of course, it was the 0-0 draw, and it happened a couple other times, I think, before this particular answer to the contest question. But you have to go all the way back to April of 1997 was the last time Arsenal kept a clean sheet and won at Stamford Bridge in the league. So 20 years ago, almost 21 years ago, this is the last time Arsenal won and kept a clean sheet. That's pretty incredible. And so, you know, that was even back when that Chelsea wasn't that good, or, you know, before they got all their money.
Right.
You know, just, you know, money plays, I guess. But congrats to Adam for taking home that decal pack that we're going to give away for this week's contest. We have a Pires jersey, a Bergkamp jersey, an Henry jersey, and then there's that iconic photo of Dennis Bergkamp. Actually, you can't really see it because it's a reverse decal. But, yeah. Well, anyway, we got.
I could kind of see through it. That was some great broadcast.
Yeah, so just really engaging TV there. Yeah. But thanks to everyone that participated. We'll go ahead and do another one of those packs here to finish off this month because, as you know, I already mentioned, we're going to be getting in touch with the different branches affected by the hurricanes and getting the scarves and T-shirts out to some of their members in light of some things that happened this month. And then we'll get back on the well, I mean, these are real prizes. I mean, they exist, but the scarves and T-shirt prizes following the international break, we'll get back on that for everybody going forward. But yeah, I mean, if as much as you want to engage with us, we tend to people that, you know, give questions or offer questions or engage with us on social media or for these live events and that sort of thing. We tend to give out as much of the show-based stuff as we can. So, you know, get in touch if you have some questions or you want a topic covered on the show, even on the podcast version, the non-live version, we'll be more than willing to, you know, give you credit for the topic or discuss whatever you wanted to discuss. So get in touch. That's all I have in terms of a contest. Just be on the lookout, I guess, the rest of this week for something Twitter-based in terms of a contest or online somewhere, and we'll give away, again, another decal pack for the winner there.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's all we got for you for this particular live podcast. Yeah, all I could say, it's good that Arsenal finally has a number 9 that doesn't suck since Jose Antonio Reyes, who did end up sucking coincidentally. So yeah, I mean, this is uncharted waters for Arsenal since basically Ian Wright, although Ian Wright was 8, so never mind. But yeah, number 9s, for Arsenal. That'd be a great. That sounds like a great trivia. You know, Kyle.
Okay, so we'll keep it. So I won't.
Why? What were you gonna say?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna guess on a couple because I feel like there's been a couple. But
oh yeah, definitely in the past. Yeah. But for Arsenal in like recent history, I mean, like Julio Baptista.
Well, yeah, and what's funny is because Lacazette is wearing it and having some pretty good success here early on. It's almost like it's been, I don't know, in a box over in the corner. Like they bring the new jerseys in at the beginning of the season, and everyone gathers around the box and, oh, I want number what? Well, I mean, I know that's not how it works, but
that's what happened to
like Mighty Ducks, you know.
That's what happened to Perez. I mean, you know, he just was last of the box, basically.
Yeah, right. So there you go.
Yeah.
So don't be last of the box unless you're a true number 9.
That is actually not what happened to Perez. If you ever hear, like, I think it was Jeremy Wilson who was talking about the whole fiasco with him. And obviously everyone's, you know, read the stories. He was told about it. He was told about it by somebody after it happened. It wasn't like, yeah, you know, he was consulted before they switched numbers with him and Lacazette, or gave that number to Lacazette. I think he was told by like his mom or like his family, like someone had seen it on the Arsenal.com. On the Arsenal.com. Yeah. Like that's the last thing you want you imagine if you got all your major heartbreaking career information from your mother. Like that's the last person you want to get your information from in that realm, or any realm really. At a certain,
like milk and cookies on the table. Oh man, this is bad news.
I don't even know if it was his mom. I think it was one of his family members though, because he was with his. Anyway, you know, it's neither here or there. It was a long time ago. That was when Arsenal were very, very bad at the beginning of the season. Now they're looking a little bit better. Anyway, they've got the number 9 scoring goals. And that actually was the first, believe it or not, the first joint start between Alexis Sanchez and...
Right.
So that's kind of a big deal. Not sure how many of those we'll be seeing next season, but, you know, it could be good while it lasts. So we'll just hope for more of that. So that continues. More of that will continue, hopefully, into the, Bate Borisov and Brighton games. We'll get in touch with you on the other side of those games on the next Real Live Just Audio podcast. Until then, as always, remember, support the Arsenal. Thanks for watching. Have a good week.